Yes. So in the initialized array, we declare it the same, that is dim to the array. That's the name of my array again, dim to the array. So since we're going to be initializing it, we don't write the size, we just write a comma, then we say as integer, that's the data type, and then we now initialize the array, that is equals, and then we initialize it with curly braces. Now the curly braces, these ones will be enclosing everything, and then we need to now write the initialization. So I'm just going to write an array that has got 5 and 2 columns. So I'm going to start off with the first row, and I'll be writing it like this. You put another set of curly braces inside, and then I'm just going to put the item for the row, that is 2, and for the column, that is 4, and then you separate it with a comma again. So this is the first row. Row will be having 2 and then 4 in the column. So we write 5 sets of these values anyhow you want. So I'm just going to put randomly 4 and 6, and I write another set, that is 5 comma 2, and another set, that is 7 comma 9. That is how many sets? 1 2 3 4. We need the last one, that will be just 3 and let's say 8, like this. So this is how we initialize an array. We have 1 2 3 4 5 rows, and we have how many columns? 1 2 columns. So the same will be for the columns again. So now we need to make sure that we output everything on our console. So this is how we do it. We use for loops. So I'm going to write my for loops. For I is equals to 0 to 4. Now understand that this loop has got 5 rows and 2 columns. So the loop will be, the row will be running from let me just put as a comment, that would be 5 rows. So the row will be running from 0 to 4 to make it 5 rows, and then I put another for loop for the columns now. Now that is 0 for j is equals to 0 to, since it has got 2 columns, it's going to run from 0 to 1. That is 0 and 1. These are 2 columns. So I write 2 columns as my comments, like this. Okay, so you need to make sure that every for loop is enclosed if you are still an amateur. So this loop is opening here and closing here, and this one is opening here and closing here, and everything that is going to happen is going to be written within these nested for loops. So when these loops are running, we're going to be outputting on our console screen as console.writeLine like this. So let's just put some text. So my text will be telling me which index I'm at. So I'm just going to write index, and then I put a semicolon, and then I put an opening bracket. So I need it to put everything that will be at index I along with index j. Okay, so it's going to output everything first at, not everything as such, it's going to output the first element at index I as well as the element at index j, like this. But I need to separate the indexes with a semicolon, so I'm just going to put some quotes here, and then like this. I'm going to put a colon, sorry, like this. So we need to make sure that there is an end before any everything that is outside the quotations. And then now I need to close this bracket. I'm going to put an end, and then I put my quotes like this. Sorry, I'm going to put a closing bracket. So before we go any further, you need to understand we're going to be outputting the text index, and then we're going to be outputting I and J. So this is how it will appear on your screen. I'm going to put it as a comment again. That's index. So it will be looking like this. For instance, index is 0 and 0, like this. So everything that you're seeing in this seemingly reddish color, that would be everything that is going to be outputted on the screen like this. And then the I and J, they're going to be looping I and J relatively based on the number of rows and columns. So everything that is not going to be in, every time when you break a sequence of quotations, you put an end, and then your I, an end, and then your semicolon, your end, and then your J. Okay, but then it's just going to be outputting this text, but we need it to output also the values that would have been initialized here, which are these ones. So this is how we do it. We then write and again, but I need to put some spacing between the text and the value. So I'm just going to put okay, this is how I do it, space, and then I'm going to put a space of 1 character like this, and then I'm going to now output everything that is in my array, that is 2D array, like this, and it's going to output everything as per loop I and J. Okay, now if we leave this program like this, it won't really be sufficient, because it will output everything that will be in the first index I and J and then just stops. But we need it to output everything that is displayed here. So this is how we do it. We increment I and J in their next text. But since you realize for J is closed here, so we increment J here instead of I. You might be confused. And then for I is closing here, so we increment it at the end like this. And of course, don't forget what we talked about. Every time when you write your code, don't leave out the console.read key to make sure that your code doesn't just disappear after it is displayed. I mean, your output doesn't disappear after it is displayed on the screen like this. And then we run it, and then we need to see if we have done justice to our code. So as you can see, at index 00, we have 2, and at index 01, we have 4, and at index 10, we had 4, just like how it is appearing in our initialized array. So when you do that, we have done justice to your array code.